What's going on, guys? Probably our first video we try to make here at Pulley OR Racing. This is Project Z 78 280Z turbo, position turbo, Haltech, a bunch of other goodies, Willwood brakes, roll bar, bunch of cool neat little things. What we're gonna do today is put an alternator in this guy. It had a alternator out of an 85 Maxima, which was 60 amps, and we're gonna upgrade that today to something a little newer. We're gonna go to a 94 Maxima. The one on the right is a Maxima, the one on the left is a Nissan Quest. The Nissan Quest does have higher total output, which is 110 amps, but if you notice, the output at idle is 41. To me, it's a little bit more critical than total amps, and this is mostly the weekend car. And if you see here, the Maxima is 90 and 58 total amps at idle. So that's what I ended up going with for this project. And she actually left us stranded a couple weeks ago. Alternator went dead, and we decided it's time to upgrade. So the first thing we gotta do over here is swap pulleys. The Datsun still using the V-belt pulley, and we're gonna migrate over to, we're definitely not gonna switch over to a ribbed belt. So first step here is to go ahead and swap the pulleys and go ahead and get started here. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and swap this pulley over from a ribbed belt to a V-belt. I don't think I mentioned the part number when I was doing this, but this is kind of new to me. So after a bunch of research, what I found out is the alternator I wanted to go with without a bunch of modifications. A lot of these casings sound the same. The real big difference here is the clocking of this upper tab. This is a alternator from a 94 Nissan Maxima. It is a single overhead cam versus a dual overhead cam. The dual overhead cam has this clocked over, I believe, at the 11 o'clock. 11, 10 o'clock position, and that's going to cause a little bit more trouble. You might have to modify your tension bracket a little bit more to get this to fit. So this is a little bit, it's closer to the stock configuration. It's a little bit bigger on the Datsun platform. Sorry, the Datsun platform is a little smaller, so this is just a little bit bigger, so you should be able to make this fit with no modifications. The part number I got for this was 16441, A is in Apple. So let's go ahead and take this pulley off. $24mm socket here. You're probably going to need an impact to take this off. I don't think I've ever had success not using an impact. So a problem I had with this many years ago was having a two-piece V-belt pulley. I couldn't get this to work because I did not have a one-piece pulley. I've heard others made it work. I never felt comfortable. It wasn't lined up perfectly, and since this is a track car, I don't need that vibration coming off, making the belt fling off on the track. It just wasn't worth it. So I went with an older Nissan pulley. What you can find a one-piece pulley from is Pathfinders, the truck. I think the truck's called a D21, and I think maybe even the 240SX uses a similar alternative. It probably does use the same one. It's just lower amperage, and it might be V-belt as well. So I need to go to the junkyard, grab one from a early 90s Pathfinder. I think they switched over in 95 or 96, or a truck, the D2100 truck, I believe, and you can get a single one-piece pulley. So you should be able to slide this guy on. Should be on there pretty good. I'm going to put a couple of drops of Loctite on here, just for good measure. I'm going to hit this again with impact and tighten it all up. That should be it. It's all done. We're already this now to a V-belt pulley that'll go ahead and line up with our old Datsun platform here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start taking this apart. What makes this a little bit more challenging than regular Datsun is I added power steering to this. It's got a rack from a 2004 STI. So with that, we're covering the alternator with this power steering pump assembly. Normally this would probably be a 20-minute job, but this is probably going to make it a longer job. I don't know. We'll see. I was kind of hoping I never had to touch that alternator again, but you know, I'm going to be that lucky today. So I'm going to set this down, kind of set this up, and see if I make some progress here. Alright guys, I'm going to start taking this apart here. I'm going to try speeding the video up every now and then so you guys just don't watch me work. I don't really know what format's going to work. This is my first time doing this, so before we start anything alternator power related, make sure you disconnect the battery. You don't want a nice spark or, you know, good fun stuff to happen with the battery, so go ahead and take that off before you get started here. And then I'm just going to get started here. I'll stop here every now and then with some key points maybe, and let's see how this goes. So here's what we have. The wiring might need to change a little bit. As you can see here, the alt sensing wire and the light wire are in the back. Whereas this new alternator, they're on the side. I do not have a plug for this, so I'll need to work that out, figure that out. See if I can get a plug later, or I might just use some spade connectors here. But let's get this in there and get this started soon. Alright, so one of my first worries here was belt alignment. And I was concerned that that pulley was going to be too far forward and basically throw the belt alignment, and at higher RPMs, you know, throw the belt. Since the alternator is connected to the water pump, that is a concern. Luckily there is a, that's kind of what the light wire as well helps to stop charging also from the keys off, and we'll throw the light on the dash, but when on the track I'm not really looking at the alternator light, I'm kind of more just looking at temperatures. So test it on the street, see how that does, drive it around a couple miles here and there and see if it wire holds. If it does, or the belt holds. If it does, then be all set. This. It's kind of updates my projects. And that's kind of what I'm gonna do. You know, one last task to do is put the new battery in. Show that. And I think once I figure out the wiring for the light sensing wire, I'll post a schematic somewhere at the bottom of this video. But I'm gonna jump to the battery now. Alright, well, I'm not working on my garage, or I will have you for a long time, so I can't find any tools anywhere in my friend's garage. So I've installed brand new battery. When putting an alternator in, because your battery keeps dying out, make sure you charge it. Take it to like Advanced Auto or your local parts store, let them charge it before you throw in a dead battery and expect your alternator to charge that for you. So I'll be back a little bit later and tighten this all up and find the battery terminals somewhere and hopefully start this thing up. Alright, well, might be wondering why it's dark now when we started this and it was daylight. Well, had a misfire as soon as we started it up, and looked like somebody dropped the spark plug on cylinder number 6. So either it was cracked, it was grounding, who knows. But I ran up the street, got a new spark plug, and to prove this thing works, let's start it up. Idles. It works. She runs. I think that's going to do it for us today. I'll give one last walk around so you guys can check this out. But this is Project Datsun. This was our Maxima alternator upgrade, and hope you enjoyed it. Try to edit this, clean it up, and be sure to follow us. We'll get a bunch of more of the things. We got an SC300, E30, actually two E30s, an FC, an FD, and a SC300 with a 2J going in shortly. So